I'm back again. I'm back into what if Darth Vader used cortosis as his armor, I'm gonna guess. Yeah, to upgrade his suit. No, if you haven't seen the acolytes, it's that stuff that short circuses a lightsaber, Jedi or Sith. It like short circuses that lightsaber, or any lightsabers. But what if Lord Vader used it to upgrade his suit? This should be nice. Also like this. Like this sword in like the start of it, in one of like the Vader comics. I think that's what this sword is made out of right here. It short circuses the lightsaber. But yeah, what if Darth Vader's entire suit was made out of that? Made out of this stuff. But anyway, that's when we find out. And that'll be a one, terrifying Vader, and two, no Jedi could stop him more. He'd be more powerful than before. Like, I think that might be kind of weak. But also makes him more terrifying too for any Jedi to have to fight against Vader. But anyway, again, long intro, I know. But don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I'll have the Star Wars Galaxies channel in the description as always. And don't forget to go check out my reaction playlist to see more of my reactions too. And let's start.
Cortosis is a metal in Star Wars that has the ability to absorb energy, and it can basically cause lightsabers to short out, as we've seen in the Darth Vader comics.
Like I just said, and the Acolyte too. So yeah, I kind of already told you guys about that, so yeah.
Mentioned in the Plagueis novelization, The Acolyte, and other Star Wars projects. So what if Darth Vader got his hands on this metal for his own armor? Let's get into today's story. Our story begins on Baldemnik, an ancient Sith planet tracing back many centuries, but one that has not been used in a long time. The Sith apprentice of this current era, Darth Vader, has tracked a Jedi called Leb Tonin to this planet. It was a mysterious hiding place, but Vader quickly realized that the Jedi hid here in order to hide himself while still being able to use the Force, as the dark side of the Force surrounding this planet would help hide the Jedi. As Vader was walking along the rocks next to the water, he came upon an old cave that has long been abandoned and basically was worn down either from nearby earthquakes or some sort of battle. As Vader looked upon the cave, wondering its history, the Jedi emerged from under the nearby water and used a force push on Vader, sending him crashing hard into the cave and deep inside of it. As Vader tried to gather himself, he could not find his lightsaber. It was lost under the rocks, and Vader saw the Jedi jump into the air, his blue blade ignited for the kill, and as Vader frantically searched for his blade, he instead found a metal helmet of sorts. Vader grabbed this helmet, and he used it to block the lightsaber, and to both Vader and the Jedi's surprise, the helmet not only blocked the blade, it caused it to short out and malfunction. The blue saber was showering sparks and struggling to reignite, so Vader reached out, snapping the neck of the Jedi. He was no longer the top priority here. Vader looked down to the helmet now with extreme curiosity, and he wondered if it could be true. During the Clone Wars, long before Vader was born, the man called Anakin Skywalker was sent on a mission to the planet Mokiv to investigate a cortosis factory, creating battle droids of this metal.
Oh, imagine if the battle droids used that as their armor or their bodies, and then for the Empire, imagine if the Empire Star Destroyers were made out of this stuff. Actually, that may not work out because I think, yeah, if we can short circuit a lightsaber, I wonder what can it do to what can that cortosis do to it? blaster or a shot from a destroyer. I'll be back. I'm back. Back. Let's go. Continue.
Anakin destroyed the factory, and the cortosis with it, and that was thought to be the last source of this ancient metal. But this cave apparently harbored some inside of the helmet, and as Vader looked deeper, he found a hidden stash of this metal. Clearly the Sith that came before Vader, or even Sidious, had left behind this stash. And Vader touched the helmet once more, this time focusing on its memory in the Force. And Vader had a quick vision of the past. He saw a human man and a woman, and they were training together, here, when a Sith Mun, likely Plagueis, Vader realized, emerged from around a hidden corner and cut down the girl, before calling the man a traitor. The man wearing the helmet yelled out in anger, then attacked Plagueis. The two of them dueled, and ultimately, Plagueis was victorious, killing the man and leaving his body and helmet here, as Plagueis moved back into manipulating the galaxy. The events cut off from there. Vader didn't get much else. All he knew was that someone, a Sith before him, wore this helmet, and now it was left behind here. And as Vader looked upon the helmet and extra cortosis, he knew he couldn't pass up this opportunity. So he spent the next hour carrying the metal back to his ship.
Got really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Vader, and you have done well. I think this would also help him in the duel with Palpatine now. I think.
It's been roughly... And as Vader looked upon the helmet and extra cortosis, he knew he couldn't pass up this opportunity. So he spent the next hour carrying the metal back to his ship. It has been roughly 10 long, painful years since Vader was put into his suit. And even despite the horrible breathing, the constant sharp pain, and the lack of mobility, Vader's least favorite part was that this suit of armor was barely armor at all. Lightsabers could cause it to break or malfunction so easily, but with this cortosis, his suit would truly be an upgrade over his former physical body rather than a detriment. So Vader would bring all of it back to his castle on Mustafar, and he would spend the next week just researching, figuring out the best way to go about this, and ultimately, Vader would just have the cortosis welded into a new replica set of his armor whenever he was in his bacta tank. Vader had droids that would be able to do much of this for him, allowing Vader to still do the bidding of his master, while it was all being put together. Part of Vader actually found joy, or the closest thing to joy for Vader, in putting this together. He was good at it.
Again, like, when he was Anakin Skywalker, he was, like, great at making stuff. Made droids for Watto, what we see in episode 1. He made a pod racer. Great mechanic, the boy is. So, yeah. It, like, this part, like, a mini bit of Skywalker coming back for a moment.
And around a month into the secret production of the cortosis armor, he was awoken by a call, or a feeling in the Force, by his old master, Obi-Wan Kenobi. The armor wasn't ready quite yet, but Vader would still go to Mapuzo, find Kenobi, duel the old helpless Jedi, dragging him through fires for revenge, and ultimately, Kenobi would escape, as Vader was just not satisfied in killing him while he was so weak. Vader wanted a true rematch, and next time, he would be in the new armor. So while Kenobi and the members of the Path were being tracked to Jabim, Vader returned to Mustafar to find his armor was now ready for him. It was the same as his current set, which Vader was now very used to, only it had cortosis infused into it. No warrior.
Looks like gold now. I mean, like gold. You know, like many bits of black and gold. And the question is, how would Obi-Wan and Palpatine react to this?
Wielding a lightsaber would stand a chance against him, and that would quickly be proven on Jabim, as the Inquisitor Reva was sneaking up on Vader, hoping to betray and kill him for what he did in the temple. Reva spent her early years in life as a Jedi, only for Anakin to slaughter the temple. She survived, dedicated her life to revenge, and she thought she had it now. She swung at Vader's head to kill him, but her blade immediately malfunctioned, sputtered out, as Vader slowly turned, lifting her into the air, and told Reva her usefulness has come to an end, before he stabbed through her heart and threw Reva to the wall. It was time for him to destroy Kenobi, once and for all. And so as Vader stood in his Star Destroyer, he watched as a single ship broke off from the main civilian transport and headed down to the nearby barren moon. Vader forced his destroyer to follow Kenobi, and before long, the Sith Lord descended down to the moon for his final rematch with his old master. The two of them stared at each other, as Obi-Wan said he was here to do what he must, and the two of them approached each other, clashing their blades against each other. As the duel got more powerful, more fast, more aggressive, Obi-Wan's blade was slashing towards Vader's head, and Vader allowed this, headbutting the lightsaber as it sputtered and died out, as it struck the cortosis-lined helmet. Vader seized this moment, swinging with power back at Obi-Wan, forcing the Jedi to step back, and with a relentless pursuit, Vader charged at Obi-Wan as he was desperately running, flipping backwards, trying to just get his blade back to working. Obi-Wan now realized what was happening, and he knew that this fight was now going to be much more difficult. He retreated further, his eyes scanning the Dark Lord's form, seeking out vulnerable joints or seams, and with a new strategy, Obi-Wan would move back in, swinging, parrying, focusing on Vader's legs in the midsection, where the cortosis was not lined in the armor nearly as much. His saber was carving into the exposed sections of Vader's suit, searing through the less protected areas, and Vader angrily yelled out as sparks were flying from his suit now. Obi-Wan was still quicker than him, and for a moment, it seemed as though Kenobi had the upper hand, his experience, his adaptability overcoming Vader's.
So I think after this battle, he's gonna realize I should have cortosis down all over my body now, not just the top piece. That's like the first thing Vader should have done was have cortosis for like the top piece and all over, even including the legs and the backside and all that. Have cortosis all over the body. That's what he should have did. But yeah, let's see if he does that when after this battle of Kenobi, if he realized that he should add cortosis to the leg system, to the legs, and also to the lower half of the body too.
Brutal strength and his cortosis defenses. The blue blade swung around Vader, and the two of them began using the Force, throwing rocks and debris through the air at each other. Obi-Wan now force-pushed Vader into the rock wall, but Vader refused to fail. As Obi-Wan flew through the air to attempt to stab through him, Vader made a reckless move, ripping off his helmet, spinning to slam the helmet into Obi-Wan's blade. Once more, the blade shorted out, and this was all Vader needed. With a swift and merciless strike from his crimson saber, Vader ended the duel as he plunged it through Obi-Wan's back. The Jedi Master fell to the rocky floor, and Vader almost felt remorse. Obi-Wan was a part of him, and he was a part of Obi-Wan, but finally their rivalry was over. Vader turned to leave, and Obi-Wan managed to say that he still believes Anakin will avenge him, but Vader simply said that Anakin is gone, before leaving Obi-Wan to die. The death of Obi-Wan Kenobi would cause a ripple through the galaxy. Bail Organa, one of the few people who knew of Kenobi, had Leia safely returned to him, but when he never heard back from Obi-Wan, he concluded that the Jedi must have died. And these suspicions were confirmed when Bail secretly visited Tatooine and the Lars family said that Obi-Wan never came back. So Bail told them to raise Luke as they see fit, and he will do the same with Leia. The time of the Jedi is over. It's time for the rebellion to fight, and they can no longer rely on the Jedi to ultimately save them. Darth Sidious would be rather impressed with Vader, but Vader would not tell Sidious how he defeated Kenobi. The cortosis was his secret, and in time, perhaps it would be used against the Emperor. Yoda felt it all the way on Dagobah, and he, too, decided to let things play out. The Force was not at all balanced. The Sith ruled the galaxy, and Yoda was putting faith in the people of the galaxy to solve this mess. And so, for the next few years, the legend of Darth Vader would grow in the galaxy. He was well known before this, but with the new armor came a new confidence. On every mission against the Jedi, Vader became even more unstoppable, slaughtering more and more of them, while hunting down rebel cells with ease. His new confidence made him unstoppable. His desire for power only grew with each passing day. And Sidious could feel this, and as Sidious searched the threads of the Force for what exactly he was feeling, he had a vision. He saw Darth Vader standing atop the ruins of Coruscant, billions dead, and Vader stood in front of the fallen Darth Sidious, alone as the true Sith Lord. And Sidious decided that Vader's usefulness has come to an end. The Empire was thriving, at least in the core. Sidious nearly achieved immortality, and he could find a new apprentice. Vader's role as the Enforcer was no longer needed. So Sidious dispatched the remaining 8 Inquisitors to Vader's castle to quietly infiltrate and kill the Dark Lord before Sidious's vision came to pass. The Inquisitors, led by the Grand Inquisitor, didn't say a word as their ship entered the Mustafar atmosphere. They knew why they were here, and they knew it wouldn't be easy. But Vader would die today. As their ship landed in the hangar, stormtroopers were ordered to quietly evacuate as the 8 of them now approached. The Grand Inquisitor stood at the entrance of Vader's castle, his heart pounding beneath the dark armor, and they slowly, silently moved through the shadowed corridors, splitting into pairs as they'd planned, each duo slipping into the maze of hallways and chambers. The castle was strangely quiet, the only sound being the soft hum of the lava rivers outside, and their own breath echoing in their helmets. And as they advanced, the Grand Inquisitor could not shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The shadows were seeming to close in around them. And then, the silence was shattered. Somewhere deep within the castle, a lightsaber ignited, followed by a scream that was abruptly cut off. The Grand Inquisitor froze, his blood running cold. Another scream echoed from a different direction, followed by the unmistakable clash of lightsabers. His comms crackled with panicked voices, and then, silence. One by one, the screams and the sounds of lightsabers grew louder and closer, until the Grand Inquisitor turned around to the 5th brother behind him, only to see that he too was gone. And suddenly, the 5th brother fell from the ceiling, dead, and the Grand Inquisitor realized with horror that he was the only one left. The darkness seemed to pulse with a life of its own. As he looked frantically for Vader, he could hear the breathing echoing all around him. He gripped his double-bladed lightsaber tightly, senses on high alert, but the shadows yielded nothing in return. The castle itself seemed to mock him, its walls closing in, and suddenly, the Grand Inquisitor's worst fears came true. Emerging from the darkness, the towering figure of Vader appeared, his crimson blade casting an ominous glow around them. The Inquisitor staggered backwards. The terror that was building up was now a crushing weight on his chest, and Vader advanced slowly, deliberately, each step echoing around him. The Grand Inquisitor raised his saber in a desperate attempt to fight, but Vader reached out and punched the saber as it shorted out and faltered to Vader's new armor. And with a final strike, Vader's blade cut through the air, and the Grand Inquisitor felt a sharp pain as his vision went dark. The last thing he saw was the cold, emotionless mask of Vader. And Vader stood victorious in his castle. He knew this day would come, and he contacted Admiral Thrawn to say their plan could be set in motion. For the last couple years, Vader and Thrawn were in negotiations with each other. Thrawn was becoming impatient with the Empire's failure to take the rebels seriously, and Vader wanted to destroy the Emperor. So they planned to destroy him, and then Vader would become Emperor, but Thrawn would basically handle all the entire political side of things, while Vader remained as the leader of the military. Both of them would get what they wanted, and the Emperor would no longer be in their way. So Thrawn would begin spreading fake leaks to Coruscant security through anonymous lines, saying the rebels have infiltrated the highest levels of Coruscant, and he knows where their hidden base is. Thrawn would tell Imperial security that their hidden cell was below the 500 Republica building, and so the Red Guards, along with stormtroopers protecting Palpatine's apartment, would move down there, allowing Vader to infiltrate the apartment secretly, and he would find Sidious standing alone in the apartment, seemingly waiting for him. And Sidious said that he always knew this day would come.
But
Vader didn't respond. Their long history would end today, and the two Sith ignited their blades, the air crackling with tension, as they suddenly clashed against each other, the apartment filled with the sounds of their sabers.
Like, straight to the battle, like, no commenting on why you look different, Vader. Like, no comment on that, like, just straight into the battle, okay. Straight to it then, okay.
Vader fought with a new ferocity, fueled by years of hatred, servitude, and rage, but Palpatine quickly realized that his lightsaber would not be enough, as his blade shut down upon hitting the armor. With a snarl, he disengaged, raising his hands as dark lightning began to crackle from his fingers. The force battle that would ensue was nothing short of cataclysmic. Palpatine unleashed torrents of lightning, the blue energy arcing across the room, searing through the air, and Vader was deflecting it with his own power. But the sheer strength of Palpatine's assault was driving him back. His lightsaber flew out of his hands, his mechanical limbs straining under the pressure. The apartment walls began to crack and buckle under the strain of both Sith. Objects were flying through the air, crushed by the magnitude of their powers. Palpatine's laughter echoed through the room, his glee at finally putting his apprentice in his place evident as he pushed Vader to the brink of death. Vader was struggling against this onslaught. He could feel his strength waning, his vision blurring, as the dark energy threatened to consume him. He couldn't hold off any longer. The lightning hit him hard, as Vader began to feel his life ripping away. And just as it seemed Palpatine would deliver the final blow, the roar of approaching engines filled the apartment. Above them in the sky, a stolen rebellion bomber piloted by Thrawn descended rapidly toward the structure. Without hesitation, Thrawn unleashed a series of bombs, and the apartment was engulfed in a blinding explosion. The force of the blast tore through the room, obliterating everything in its path. Sidious's scream of fury was cut short as he was incinerated, his body vaporized by the intense heat and fire. Vader was thrown across the room, his armor absorbing the brunt of the explosion, but leaving him very battered and broken. The smoke cleared, and Vader laid amidst the rubble, the remains of Palpatine's apartment reduced to a ruin. He was alive, barely, his mechanical breathing the only sound in the aftermath of this strike, and Thrawn's ship flew by once more, allowing Vader to leap into it as the two of them left Coruscant. Vader angrily asked Thrawn what he was thinking. He nearly killed him, and in a calm voice, Thrawn assured Vader he knew what he was doing. In his research, Thrawn concluded there was no way Vader would beat Sidious, but he knew that if he could just sneak through the planetary defenses in this bomber, then Vader would survive the explosion. Thrawn used an old Coruscant entry point that Dooku used to use to sneak into Coruscant, and the two of them escaped without a trace, making it look like the rebellion assassination attempt. Vader asked why he even had to be there, and Thrawn said that Sidious would have sensed him coming, were Vader not there. And with Palpatine dead, many thought the rule of the Empire might come crashing down, but Vader and Thrawn seamlessly would step into place to rule the Empire. Thrawn was ready for this, and their rule would just allow the Empire to continue on, only with more focus on tearing down the rebels. The duo wasted no time consolidating power, swiftly eliminating any rivals or dissent within their ranks. Vader, now the true Sith Lord, enforced his will with an iron fist, fighting rebellions with brutal force, as Thrawn utilized his truly unparalleled tactical genius, tightening the grip across the galaxy for now. Together they were an unbreakable partnership, as Vader wielded fear and power, while Thrawn wielded respect and intellect, and the rebellion quickly found itself on the brink of extinction, as every move they made was anticipated, countered by the Empire's deadly duo, as they didn't have the chains of the Emperor around them any longer. Over 5 years, the galaxy experienced a period of new order and expansion, and the Empire under Vader and Thrawn thrived like never before. And the galaxy, though ruled by fear, was also marked by a level of stability and efficiency unseen during Palpatine's reign. Planets that submitted to Imperial rule were rewarded with protection and economic prosperity, their industries booming under the watchful eyes of Imperial governors. The population aware of the swift, merciless response to any act of defiance largely adjusted to the new order, and even the whispers of rebellion grew faint, as hope dwindled in the face of the Empire's power. But the rebels would never completely die out. The rebellion would make its final, desperate move, after all these years with all of its remaining members together at the Yavin Temple. The rebellion just leaked their location to the Empire, luring Vader to Yavin, with the knowledge that the Death Star was now fully operational. They knew the risk, but they also knew this might be their only chance to end the Empire's reign of terror. The plan was risky. Have Vader descend to the surface, leaving the Death Star vulnerable to a sudden rebel strike, led by the most fearless, determined fighters they had left, led by Saw Gerrera, Cassian Andor. And as the Death Star appeared in the sky above Yavin, its ominous silhouette casted a shadow over the planet. Vader prepared to fire the station's super laser, intent on wiping out the last remnants of this rebellion. But before the weapon could be activated, a transmission came through, halting everything. The holographic image of Bail Organa flickered into view, his voice calm, but laced with sorrow. Bail revealed something Vader never expected, that he has the daughter of Anakin and Padme. The image shifted to reveal Leia Organa, and the room fell silent, as Vader gazed at the hologram, his mechanical breath the only sound as he processed this. And though he was torn between his duty to the Empire and the sudden surge of long-suppressed emotions, Vader knew the truth. He could feel it. Leia was his daughter. He commanded the Death Star to hold its fire, and Vader descended down to the surface of Yavin, determined to find Leia. She would be his new apprentice. And as Vader's shuttle departed the Death Star, a rebel fleet, hidden just outside the system, burst out of hyperspace, and it began attacking the Death Star with surprise as their advantage. The assault began as the focus was on boarding the battle station. They targeted key points of the Death Star, fighting their way through stormtroopers and defenses with a single goal: take control of the Death Star's weapon, turn it against the Empire. Jedi Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger survived to this point, and they were part of the assault, along with Rex leading a bunch of men. The battle inside the Death Star was fierce, but the rebellion fought with the desperation of those who had nothing left to lose. Saw, driven by his uncompromising hatred for the Empire, seized control of the super laser's firing controls, while Cassian coordinated the takeover of the command center. The original plan had been to use the Death Star as leverage, forcing Vader to surrender and end the Empire's reign. But as the tide of battle turned in their favor, Saw's desperation to destroy the Empire pushed him to a deeper, darker path. He ignored the original plan, and Saw Gerrera ordered the firing of the Death Star upon Yavin. Cassian, horrified by this betrayal of their strategy, tried to stop him, but it was too late. And on the surface, Darth Vader would see his daughter for the first time. His one weakness was always family. And now Vader, along with the rebels, all looked up in shock. The super laser charged, and in a flash of green light, the planet was suddenly obliterated. The explosion consumed everything: Vader, Bail Organa, Leia, and the entire rebel base. In that instant, the Death Star was a tool of the rebellion's final victory and a symbol of its greatest tragedy. The Empire's most feared enforcer was gone, but the cost was too high. The rebels aboard the Death Star were still fighting off stormtroopers, and Saw would set the super laser to fire without charging the cannons, which would cause the battle station to explode in upon itself. So as most of the rebels managed to escape, many of them, including Saw, never made it off, as the laser erupted in on itself, and the Death Star was destroyed above the newly destroyed Yavin. It was a day of millions of deaths, and all that would come from it would be Thrawn furthering the galaxy's largely held belief that the rebellion was evil. Emperor Thrawn would paint a picture of the rebellion terrorism, saying they used a planet-killing Death Star, and he would continue ruling the galaxy for years to come, slowly taking the militaristic power away from planets, focusing on making sure the galaxy legitimately thrives. Instead, Thrawn would turn the Imperial military to the unknown regions, and he would prepare them to invade these regions to fight off any galactic threat, but specifically a group called the Grisk that were threatening Thrawn's home people. Thrawn would unite the galaxy over the years on a unified goal of keeping their galaxy safe from outside invaders. His rule would not be nearly as harsh as Vader or Sidious, and Thrawn would rule until the day he died, combining forces with his people and the Empire. And folks, that is our story for today. I wanted to do one where Vader doesn't ultimately win, because I've done a few stories on Vader, upgrading his armor, and it usually consists of Vader defeating the Emperor and ultimately ruling the Empire for years to come. So I thought, how could we make him lose this? And I thought, well, if the rebellion was desperate enough, they might actually Bail might actually use Leia as some leverage. And I thought if the Empire was also desperate enough, then they were going to stop at nothing to destroy Vader, including Saw Gerrera just destroying it all, even though it ultimately results in the rebellion losing way too many members to ever recover. So wanted to take the path of the rebellion getting too desperate to even ever win, and Thrawn ultimately emerging as the one true victor. Vader had his moments. He destroyed Kenobi. The entire Inquisitorius had help taking out the Emperor, but still, was there when he died. Anyways, wanted to do a story where Vader is super powerful with cortosis, because I liked what it did in the Acolyte. And let me know what you guys thought. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next video.
Yep, nice.
Your pet deserves Hill's Science Diet 7 Plus with tailored nutrition.
With Dooku's Chancellor. Okay, I'm about to check that out later, or now actually.
With cortosis, because I liked what it did in the Acolyte. And let me know what you guys thought. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next video.
Let's see if it comes up again, and yeah. I'm gonna react to this now. What if Dooku became Chancellor instead of Palpatine? What has more ring to it? Chancellor Palpatine or Chancellor Dooku? What? I like the Chancellor Palpatine has more ring to it than Chancellor Dooku. But anyway, bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I'll have the Star Wars Galaxies channel in the description below. And let's see. Yep. And then now I'm gonna react to what if Dooku became
Cortosis, because I liked what it did in the Acolyte.
Alright. Bye for now. I'm gonna be reacting to what if Dooku became Chancellor instead of Palpatine now. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I'll have the Star Wars Galaxies channel in the description below, so you can check out the original video on that channel. And don't forget to check out my reaction playlist to see more of my reactions too. And also don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye. And I'll be back in a couple of seconds again.